About 4 months back, I did my first romanticism work and shared my experience here in this YouTube channel. This video still has the highest retention in my YouTube analytics. Romanticism typically is not my fortress, and I am more comfortable with realism works. But according to YouTube, romanticism is what my viewers want. So here I am trying a full-on romanticism work, and let's see how it goes. Hello guys, welcome back. For those who are new here, the story goes like this. 4 months back, I was happy, satisfied, painting realistic faces, still lifes and sceneries, when suddenly a friend of mine introduced me to an Instagram artist who was painting highly romanticized paintings of Radha and Krishna. Seeing the Instagram success of the particular artist, my jealousy glands began to swell up. Furthermore, my friend called it real art, as if mine was not. Considering it no big deal, I decided to paint one romanticism work. This was the painting that I made. The painting had a realistic portrait of MT and his vision of Rendamuram, that is Mohanlal as Bhimasena riding the horse, and Kadolkaja and Abhimanyu on the right and left of him also riding horses in the battle of Mahabharata. I enjoyed the process of doing it and liked the finished piece a lot, to the point that it's my favorite painting till date. The painting also taught me two very important lessons. One is that romanticism for me is as enjoyable as realism, and two is that romanticism is not that easy either. The whole process was very humbling and brought with it a very drastic change in the way I was approaching my painting journey. With the newfound respect for romanticism, I vowed to pursue the journey in the path of romanticism. However, soon after this, I got engaged in some commitments and some realism works. 2 weeks back, I finished my commitments and realized that I am yet to paint a full-on romanticism piece. Even though I had a newfound love and respect for romanticism, I was not that confident enough to try a new scene. Furthermore, painting a very large romanticism piece was also out of question, as unlike other established romanticism artists, I didn't have a buyer. The financial burden of doing a very large piece just out of interest outweighed my enthusiasm in romanticism, and I decided to paint the same scene of battlefield of Mahabharata from the empty portrait into a more elaborate full-on romanticism piece on a 14x18-inch gesso-primed canvas. The composition, proportion and perspectives remained the same, which saved a lot of time and effort in the preparatory phase. The rough sketches and studies that I did earlier for proportions, compositions and anatomy of horses came in handy. But there were some differences too. The earlier painted scene was too small to have any details on the characters other than Bhimasena. But here, the painting is larger. I had to give character details to Kadolkaja and Abhimanyu. Also, the anatomy of horses and scene in general was way more detailed than the earlier one. Adding to it, I decided to give specific faces for specific characters, which made the likeness of faces a mandatory task to crack. So I decided to paint the faces first with suitable likeness and then proceed with the rest of the painting. I started by painting the face of Bhimasena, the most important face in the painting. After that, I proceeded with painting the faces of both Kadolkaja and Abhimanyu. All the three faces were painted without a sketch. The faces were too small, even in a 14x18-inch canvas, that I couldn't even sketch it with a pencil. I was not used to painting portraits directly onto the canvas without a sketch, but this time I had to do it, and luckily I got up to a satisfactory level of likeness for all the three characters. The next priority was the background. Unlike oil painting, in acrylics, the background of a still life, a scenery or an imaginary scene like this should be painted first. If you are doing it in the last, it will give a painted around feel to the painting, which affects the depth of the scene and three-dimensional look. This specific appearance may be due to the fast drying nature and blending characteristics of acrylic paints, which vary vastly from oil colors. Once I am done with the background, I proceeded with painting the characters. The main character of Bhimasena was referenced from my previous painting, for which I had done some research and sketch studies. The only difference being more details added, as it is a much larger piece. The rope flying in the wind was the only detail for which I needed newer references. Rest of the references were all that I used for my previous painting. Characters of Kadolkaja and Abhimanyu got faces in this painting unlike the previous one. Studies and poses remained the same, but I had to search for some new references for the accurate addition of the details. I also wanted to include the feather cap of Kadolkaja and the crown of Prince Abhimanyu, which was there in the previous painting, but couldn't do so here because those additions were affecting the likeness of the faces, which were too small for any corrections. If I am trying a larger piece now, I would definitely be adding those props. The wolf fighting by the side of Kadolkaja was also there in the previous painting, but this time got more character and detailing, and also a much more realistic look. The fact that I was looking for a realistic look even in a romanticism painting taught me that realism is in my blood, and I am not going to get over it that easily. Even though the topic was romanticism, I was looking for a frame straight out of a Ridley Scott movie. Now, don't get me wrong here. Truth is that I wanted this painting to look like a frame from a Ridley Scott movie, rather than an expressive romanticized scene. The realistic references used for the horses, which occupies a major part of this painting, is a testament for that. The new painting also got 2 extra characters, but the perspective didn't allow me to add much details to those characters. I know it's an injustice to them, but maybe next time, when I get someone to sponsor a much larger piece, I can make it up to them. The army in the background, war flags flying high, eagles rounding in the sky, and the surreal looking legs of horses, all added to the intended Ridley Scott frame. Now with that, I invite all of you who are still watching this video to have a look at the finished piece. Do let me know your opinion in the comment section below. Also, if you wish to buy any of my paintings or prints, please visit jinchuart.com. And if you enjoyed watching this video, here is a video that I think you should watch next. That's all from the video, guys. See you all in the next. Till then, take care and bye bye.